At the start of their journey, they think outside the box and they often come up with bright ideas. Their projects are innovative, they are a new generation of business people, and their distinguishing features are creativity and enthusiasm. This is the world of startups, the program about IT developers and the industry of startups. Greetings, dear friends. This is the world of startups and I, Sergey Kakishev. Summer is the best season for students. Statistically, the world's market of children's goods and services amounts to over $400 billion a year. According to experts, this niche in Kazakhstan still has space for development. And today, we will tell you about new social and commercial projects oriented on growing population. In today's program, National Virtual Olympiad on Programming. Where do future IT specialists live? Psychological first aid. How does an internet service save teenage lives? Everything is on your arm. What do our fingerprints tell? First National Virtual Olympiad on Programming has been held in Kazakhstan, where 5th and 6th grade pupils from all over the country participated. An index of natural interest to programming was formed as the result. Its main goal was to identify regions with talented and IT-inclined students. Let's have a look at our next episode. Both private and public school students were eligible for the Olympiad. The organizers' main goal was to attract as many students from regions as possible to the competition. For instance, all candidates from Almaty region gathered at Süleyman Demirel University. Just like all the other participants, they don't have experience in programming. Therefore, foreign countries' experience was used, where children learn the basics of coding on Code Monkey, which is an interactive educational game source for programming. It's an Israeli company, Israeli project, which works with the Ministry of Education and represented in the US and Japan. Well, in fact, in many places. The program is designed for pupils of 3rd to 8th grades. For now, we're working with the 5th and 6th grade students for it's an optimal age, taking into account our program and the Olympiad. The project's goal, with the help of teams, children lead a monkey to bananas while overcoming various obstacles. Ideally, the participants have to finish 30 assignments in an hour. This way, pupils write their first code on CodeScript, which is transmitted to JavaScript. The latter one is actively used in web applications and browsers.
I
came alone to learn the programs and become a programmer in the future. At first it was a bit difficult, then my friends helped me and I learned with no problem, solved all the assignments which were given to me. A natural interest to programming index was calculated as the result of the Olympiad. Its main goal was to determine regions with talented and IT-inclined children. Those happened to be students from Kostanay, Akmola and Almaty regions. Moreover, the organizers noted that almost 1/3 of the participant schools were from rural areas. Speaking of gender criteria, 63% were boys and 27% were girls. The organizers also found that girls approached the Olympiad's tasks more diligently and got more points at the starting levels of the Olympiad, and boys were quicker to get to the more difficult levels. Suicide among adolescents is a problem which the whole world is trying to overcome. Kazakhstan is not an exception. A specialized service shed light on Kaznet. Our correspondents met with parents and teenagers and asked them about the necessity for such sources. A teen source has recently emerged in Kazakhstan. It helps parents to determine the psychological condition of their children. In the first 2 months, the website got over 2,000 active users. This online system of diagnosis will help one understand what's happening with a child and if he needs a doctor's assistance. First of all, it lets one read an introductory part, that is, what should parents pay attention to and if there is any reason to worry, and learn from professional psychologists and specialists who work with this every day. Because we're talking about teenage years, it's a period of storm and stress, when close relatives don't quite understand what a norm is or when to ring the alarm.
является нормой, а что, когда уже стоит все-таки тревогу бить.
It's noteworthy that active work with teenagers is held in the framework of Teens Project. Young girls and boys sometimes also feel the necessity to turn to a specialist and learn ways to relax and realize what's happening to them. I feel the need for such therapy because I want to raise the issue of relationship with parents. Sometimes there are some conflicts that we don't understand each other, so in order to understand each other, I'm here.
С помощью творчества мы встречаемся со всеми этими неприятными переживаниями, мы их
We
рисуем.
face all these nuisance worries with creativity. We draw them, name them, write music and make dance moves about them. And any emotion has a beginning and an end. So when a child sees it, realizes it, names it and becomes a hero, he gets the courage to face his emotion. It becomes clear and ends.
Набрался смелости встретиться со своей эмоцией, она становится понятной и она заканчивается.
In the future, Teens is planning to become a part of a government program against teenage suicide. Besides following the international trends, the project needs to become commercial. Time will show whether the service will be able to become self-sustaining. The French spend over 2 billion euros on tutors for their kids annually. Germans 1.5 billion. Parents in Italy give about 450 million euros. In Kazakhstan, additional tutoring and sections are also quite hefty. Local startups offer a technology which will be able to determine a child's specialization based on individual indicators. Watch more in just a few seconds. Timuchin Onlasbayev is only 3, but his parents are already serious about determining the child's future profession. They called for modern technologies, not to push inappropriate lessons on the child. The choice was to turn to development of biometric testing on fingerprints, new to Kazakhstan.
Вот мой сын. Его зовут Тимучин, ему 3 года.
Here's my son, his name is Timuchin and he is 3. Now I have a clear understanding of in what direction to develop him physically. This research has shown that he needs to be sent to team sports. Now we will definitely send him to football or hockey, or maybe basketball.
Хоккей, а может быть баскетбол.
Tests are based on the postulates of dermatoglyphics, a science that studies fingerprints. The discipline is quite young. It emerged in 1892 and was used for identifying a person. Modern specialists try to find a new use for it. They claim that one can determine features of human temperament, his hidden abilities and health condition by a picture of his fingerprints.
В течение 10 лет было протестировано около 10 тысяч людей, то есть среди этих людей...
Almost 10,000 people have been tested for the last 10 years. Among these people there were specialists, I mean professionals as well as actors, singers, sportsmen, writers and journalists. Those who created this method, program and software that gives us the opportunity to learn our potential opportunities.
Узнать ваши потенциальные возможности.
First, fingerprints are scanned, then a specialist launches a software which independently analyzes the information and gives a result. An expert comments and sends the results of a description of your individual indicators on many pages on your email, so each research would be useful not only to children.
Вы хотите себе сотрудника, который был бы эффективным?
Would you want an employee who would be effective in some area? You will find such a person. I mean, we will help you, as well as features for students to know what they will be doing for a living.
Могли знать, чем они в жизни будут заниматься.
This direction of biometric researches has both supporters and opponents. The latter ones claim that with the help of dermatoglyphics, one can determine a number of chromosomal diseases. However, it's quite a challenge to define the hidden abilities of a person.
Надеемся, что вы с пользой провели это время с нами.
We hope that you spend a useful time with us. Tell us what you would like to learn from our next episodes. We're on all social networks. The World of Startups and I, Sergey Kokishev, were with you. See you right here in a week on Kazakh TV.
Телеканала Kazakh TV.